Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Everybody's working for the weekend. Taking care of business every day. Now it's wow, welcome to working week.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Minimum wage.
Okay, and welcome to another edition of The Working Lunch here on WCUW 91.3 FM and simulcast or rebroadcast, I should say,
Channel
on
12.
Channel 12 Worcester Government Channel.
A very special episode today.
And special
holiday.
for a holiday, a very special holiday edition, a Thanksgiving edition of the show. I'm your host, Jeff Turgeon. A lot of people might not recognize me. I have
A new look.
A new look. This is for November.
You got your haircut? You got your haircut? Or?
No, it's the November mustache. So it's for Men's Health. It's called Movember, Movember. So Movember, my Movember look. I've been getting, as you know, a lot
Tons
of
comments.
A lot of comments about the new
Compliments.
Some compliments.
It's
a lot
an
of
edgier
comments.
look.
It's an edgier. Yeah, a lot of people think, who is this guy?
Who's this mean man?
Who's this guy with the mustache? Like a Charles Bronson-esque.
Actually, what's your favorite or the funniest comment that you've had that's on air appropriate?
Yeah, well, I do get a lot of, hey, are you in the adult industry, adult movie industry? So the other thing is Ron Burgundy. I get it.
Oh, that's a good one.
You got the Ron Burgundy look going. That's
good.
from
That's good.
from the movie, of course,
Anchorman,
and Anchorman 2 coming out soon, I think, right?
So a quick plug for Men's Health, and
That's-
it's specifically prostate?
It's for prostate cancer and other men's health related issues. So certainly going for a good cause.
Absolutely.
And they do a great job. It's sponsored by a number of different sponsors, including the American Cancer Society. They do a great job with setting up a website and things. Social media. Interactive social media platform
yeah.
to help fundraise for it and help post pictures of how
Your progress.
how the stash is growing in, and they have grooming tips and things like that.
And did you say you were going to donate it to Locks of Love after?
It's called Stash of Love.
Stash of Love.
I'm actually starting it. It's called Jeff Turgeon's Stash of Love. I'm gonna
Good.
collect the shavings and send them off to whomever might want them. Stash of Love.
Good.
I should copyright that.
You should.
Definitely.
Definitely. Bob, you
Definitely.
could join. You've got the mustache too. You could join
Yeah.
if you want to shave it off ever.
Never.
It's never going.
I don't know what we're actually going to do with the stash after we shave. Like, what do you do with the shavings? Bob, turn around to the camera. Let's get a nice close-up of the stash of love.
Oh, the poor people. And I have the controls, remember. I can keep you guys on the controls.
That's right.
It'll put us on mute.
So this is, but it is a very special Thanksgiving edition of the show.
It is, yep.
We're taping this Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so everyone's preparing for the holiday, and some people traveling on this day. We wish them safe travels, of course. The weather's
Especially
out
with
there.
the weather, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it's going to. Right now it's just rainy. Hopefully that
Not
continues.
snow right now, which is good.
That's right. And but another thing with this time of year, volunteering, of course, becomes a big.
Oh,
lot
absolutely.
more
yeah.
prevalent. A lot of people volunteering. I know we had even tried to arrange something with our family to help out as well. It's just it's important to give back, right? That part of
Yeah.
the Thanksgiving theme.
Definitely. We have to thank all the people that have made that extra effort to stream in on WCUW.org. So looking here, we have listeners.
That's great.
Wow.
We do
Throughout the
welcome.
United-
That's right.
Throughout the
You sound
United
surprised, Sean.
throughout the United States and the world.
Well, that's the
Sean's
beauty of
mom
it.
and dad down in Douglas.
Yeah, the whole family's
The
listening.
I
whole
want to say we've
family's-
gotten some email too from overseas. Like, hey, I think we are the highest rated workforce themed
Gotta be
lunchtime
top 10.
show.
Gotta be top 10.
On the last Wednesday of each month.
That's true. Yes. Well, with some caveats, right? So, but one of the things, volunteering has been something that over at the Career Center they've been helping to push as a way for job seekers, especially those job seekers that have been out of the job market, out of the workplace for a long time, to get back into the flow of work.
Sharpen your skills.
and learn some new skills, sharpen your existing skills.
Address your gap in employment history. You could be volunteering.
And when you're networking, you're
you
making
can meet new people,
connections.
too.
So there's a lot of great reasons to volunteer as a job seeker. And one of the things that they've created is a program called the Volunteer Connections Program.
Yep.
And as part of that, they do something called Volunteer Exchange.
And that's a big event.
That is a big event. They bring in a number of different area nonprofit groups to Worcester, to the Career Center over there. It's actually, we're hosting it at the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board over on Front Street, and that's going to be happening the afternoon of December 12th. I think they do those on a quarterly basis.
Yep.
And so it's happening the afternoon of December 12th from 2 to 4 p.m. You do need to register beforehand, so folks can contact
staff at Workforce Central.
Staff at Workforce Central, that's right. And so I'm sure there's information about it online as well. So that's the Volunteer Exchange Program. Great way for people looking to get a volunteership to connect with nonprofits directly and talk about their needs and whether there's a good fit or not.
So that's a face-to-face event. The job seekers can go there and literally meet managers from local nonprofits and talk about
really talk
their
about
skills or the
exactly.
managers can talk about what jobs or what volunteer opportunities they have.
Exactly. So it's a great event. Speaking of great events.
Good.
Love the
You're
segue,
getting
right?
good with- those are smooth. You don't even notice them.
Wouldn't it be, unless we stop to talk about the fact that we just did that. But speaking of great events, there is another neat event coming up that same week, as a matter of fact. It's going to be the evening of December 11th. And so want to bring in a guest right now. We have a guest in studio, Miss Pat Yancey. She's the president of the Worcester NAACP. Welcome to the Working Lunch.
Thank you. And first of all, I must say I do like the mustache.
You like?
It's great. Yes, another fan. It's great to look fabulous while you're supporting a worthy cause.
There
so I
you go.
applaud you.
Well, 1 out of 2 might not be bad, but let's talk before we talk about the specific event happening, the screening happening on the 11th. Let's talk a little bit about the NAACP and your work. I know you're fairly new.
Yes. I've been the president since January of 2013, and we've been doing a lot of things. The most important work we do has been registering new voters. So we've been doing that at community events, and we've been sponsoring our own voter registration events.
And now here in Massachusetts, it hasn't gotten necessarily a whole lot of, I don't want to say controversy, a whole lot of there hasn't been necessarily a whole lot in the news about voter registration here in Massachusetts, but elsewhere around the country, there's been a push around voter registration laws and voter ID laws and things like that,
absolutely.
Right?
And the NAACP is in the forefront in making sure that municipalities and states and cities don't pass laws that restrict our voting rights. So since they gutted the Voting Rights Act, the Section 4, that has been going on across the country, but the NAACP has been in the forefront in the Supreme Courts and in the local courts fighting those fights.
Great. Well, along with voter registration, what's some other issues or other activities that locally here in Worcester the NAACP is looking at? Or
well, one of the fun things that we've been participating in local parades. We marched in the St. Patrick's Day Parade and the Gay Rights Parade, and we also brought Senator Cohen in before he left office, and he addressed the students at the Chandler Magnet School and talked about public engagement in the democratic process. So it was a great event. The students got a chance to ask questions. He was really open and it was fun. And
so you're doing a lot. It seems like around education and engagement with the public, and with that you have an event coming up on the evening of Wednesday, December 11th.
Yes, we are screening Robert Reich, the former Labor Secretary's documentary Inequality for All. We're doing this with the League of Women Voters, and you are going to be on the panel.
I don't. Apparently some people couldn't make it, and so they.
No. Don't say that.
They reached, it sounds like a wonderful. I've been a huge fan of Secretary Reich for a number of years. I do read some of his some of his work, and I've seen some of the. Lately, he's taken to producing some videos, so I'm sure that's going to be part of the screening. Is them? I've seen some snippets, I should say, I guess, online of different things I think will be in the movie. He's done a lot with around inequality.
Yes, and it's important for the community to come out and see this because he takes these complex issues and these policies that have been happening over the last 30 years, and he breaks them down so we can all understand them and can, feel more empowered to do something, to speak out, to what to say and what exactly these issues are.
And I think too, inequality. Sometimes you hear inequality, and I am who I am. I'm kind of middle class white guy that grew up, in Worcester and everything. And you hear stuff like that, and you almost, at times it might resonate like, almost like, oh, inequality. It's about like socialist agenda or something like. Sometimes it kind of has like that almost perception, right? But when you think about inequality and how it affects everyone's lives and everyone's quality of life, no matter where you are in society, you're part of a network,
right?
And at some point, I think if inequality becomes so great, it really affects everyone's quality of life.
It affects our democratic process.
Exactly.
It affects our democracy.
Exactly.
It really does. This eroding of the middle class does, because that is what our economy is based on, is the spending power of the middle class.
Yeah, the way you put that with the eroding of the middle class, I've seen some different studies and some different reports out there, and that's a bit scary. There's, I know that there's some reports that come out. Judy Warren from Government Channel just showed me a stat about jobless numbers have come out, and they're slowly improving. Same with when you hear data about the number of jobs reported. Like last year, I think it was in October, it was reported. Over 200,000 new jobs reported in the U.S. for that month, and it sounds like a decent bit of growth. But then when you look into it, a lot of the new jobs that are being hired for are unfortunately part-time work. They're temporary jobs. They're jobs that don't have what we would kind of traditionally call a living wage, or with benefits and with kind of a family-sustaining wage. And how do you have a vibrant democracy with a vibrant middle class if there's no work available that pays that kind of wage?
Absolutely. And there are ways, this one of the things I'm looking forward in this documentary is to help people understand there are ways that we can support ways to address these issues right here locally, like supporting a higher minimum wage and supporting the voices of workers, something that I'll be excited to hear more from you. And that's why you're going to be an important panelist, because you have resources, you have some answers to this a piece to this puzzle.
There's a piece, small piece to it, small little piece there in
it's
the puzzle.
all of us together, though.
It does take everyone kind of, and just the fact that you're putting the spotlight on this issue and allowing for a public screening and a public discussion of the issue, I think speaks well to the work that you're doing. And it is such a important issue for our economy and for our society. So
and also for the League of Women Voters, we're glad to be working with them and all of the partners in the community. We've had a good response from our local legislators and community leaders and clergy. So we'll be doing a lot of work because people are excited.
So
about
let's just make sure we get all the
NAACP.
details here. It is Wednesday, December 11th at 6
6
p.m.
o'clock.
at the Sachs room over at Worcester Public Library.
Yes.
And so how can also, we're speaking with Pat Yancey, president of the NAACP here in Worcester. How can folks get in touch with you or find out more about your organization?
Okay, so our phone number is 774-314-7515. Our email address is naacpworcester2058@gmail.com. And we do have a website, but I'm working on another one in the background, so it's a little stagnant right now. But come to the meetings. Our next meeting is December 9th.
Now, as is our custom here,
Yes.
Miss Yancey, you're not familiar with this, I don't think.
No.
As a guest, we have a little game that we play with guests for a fabulous prize. I believe it's a coffee mug.
Okay, I'm excited.
Maybe filled with gold doubloons. Is it, Sean? No, it may not be. We don't know.
That's all right.
But you never
Okay.
know. But at least a coffee mug. Sean, I think you're going to need to borrow a microphone. Sure. So why don't you borrow this one and.
All right, Pat. So the game is guess the real job of the famous actor. So this week we have Jon Stewart from The Daily Show.
Former job, like a first job.
Right, their first job.
Okay.
So was Jon Stewart, was his first job to clean up the hair at a barber shop? Was he a woodworker, or was he a puppeteer?
Oh my goodness.
And you can think it over.
Okay. I'm gonna guess a puppeteer.
You are correct. You are correct. Yeah. According to the New York Times, after graduating from College of William and Mary in 1984 with a degree in psychology, he returned to New Jersey, where he worked for the state performing puppet shows designed to sensitize school children to the disabled.
Sounds right, yeah.
Excellent job. Look at that. Excellent
Wow.
job.
So that
Wow.
was it.
You
I
have,
get the coffee mug now?
well, you don't get now. It does come at a later date. We surprise you with it.
Okay. All right.
They have to
But
go
we
out and
do-
buy it.
Oh, I have to go out and buy it. Okay.
So again, your website for folks that want to find it?
It is NAACP Worcester 2058 @gmail.com.
That's your email. Okay, and I'm sure they can Google or whatever to find your website.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, thank you again for
Thank you.
coming on. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck, and I will be seeing you and folks that attend on December 11th for that discussion.
Yes.
Date and place.
It is, so it's December 11th over at the Worcester Public Library at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Great. Well,
Very
thanks
good.
again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to segue right now over to an interview that Sean had done with Sean. You had traveled. We again getting back to volunteerism during the season, and we talked about the Volunteer Connections program over at Workforce Central.
Right.
You'd also had a chance to talk to the great folks up at
Friendly House.
At Friendly House. A lot of volunteer work being done there.
So with the holiday season, you know, a lot of people like to do volunteering for the day on Thanksgiving. They
And
like
that was
to
with Miss Josefina. Do you have her?
I'll say at the beginning of the interview here.
Hi, I'm Sean from the Working Lunch. I'm here with Josefina Velez of Friendly House, one of the multi-service agencies here in the city with, if not the best, one of the best names in the city, probably. So how you doing today?
I'm doing good, very busy.
Very busy. As we can see, we just passed through. There was over 25 volunteers volunteering in the food pantry, going through different foods, and that's what brought us here today, because I know that during the holidays, a lot of people like to volunteer, and that's one of the things that we push all year round for our job seekers. So what kind of volunteer opportunities are available right now in the holiday season?
Okay, like I mentioned, we have the Thanksgiving basket that we're going to give away. We're expecting close to 1,800 families next week, the 25th, 26th, and 27th. And we're always looking for volunteers to help us to pass this food to needy people here in the building. And then we have toys, Christmas party for the children in the city, which that's going to be December 15th. It's a Sunday, and we're looking for volunteers from 11 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the afternoon, helping us on doing distribution of the toys, helping us to put the party together, putting all the stuff that we need in terms of be able to have this party for the children.
And so people can volunteer on their own, or I noticed like the group in there is actually a business or an organization that has volunteered for the day as a team.
And that's true. People could volunteer by themselves, or people could make a group. And it's a different way that people could do volunteer. If you want to kind of like go and do a collection of food, let's say volunteer, and you could get a group of people, make like family collection, or any if you have working in a company and the company wants to do something good for the holidays, they could collect either turkeys or collect toys or collect winter jackets or money. So they could do different way could do volunteer.
Great. And multi-service agency here. I remember my first experience with Friendly House was when I was younger. I actually played basketball here in the Youth Basketball League, but I know that's just the tip of the iceberg, and there's also the food services here. Can you tell us about some of the other services available at Friendly House?
We have now this coming Wednesday, we have a winter jacket distribution. That's another service that we provide during the winter time. And then when the school is in September, we do a packages, book bag with school supply for the children. And then we have a shelter program, family shelter program, and we have a food pantry that runs all year round. And then we have different other type of services, like we help with notary, we help with basic immigration, we do form preparation, mass health application, and food stamp applications, so housing applications, is you name it. We are a basic social service agency that we do, kind of like a little bit of everything.
So it's always this busy here. Your job never ends.
Always.
So with that, you're probably looking for volunteers, not just during the holidays time when that's kind of the peak, but also throughout the year. So job seekers, I know that's one of the big things we push on our show is for long-term unemployed to add to their resume or to keep busy by doing volunteer opportunities. So if somebody was interested in volunteering, would they contact you? How would they get involved?
And there are a couple ways they could do it. They could call us or they could walk in, and we have an application. They need to fill it out, and we're doing a Cody check. Is they're going to be doing a long-term volunteer. For the holidays, we don't do Cody check because it's just only one-time deal. But if they're going to volunteer for a whole year, we do a Cody check, because they still require. The other thing is they could through the United Way. We actually participate with United Way in the volunteer opportunity. They could register with them too, and they could send it to us too if that's they wanted to do it that way.
Great. Well, I see we have a lot going on here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I appreciate you talking with us today and telling us a little bit about Friendly House.
Excellent. Well, Sean, they do a lot of great work, as you mentioned over there.
The day I was there was a ton of people there. There was one of the businesses, like I'd mentioned in the interview, they took a day to volunteer there. So there was maybe
so
20
companies can
people
get
there.
involved, and people can get involved over there as volunteers and help out with the great work
And
there.
they do a lot.
And
And all year round, too, it should be.
And we should mention, on December 12th from 2 to 4 p.m., if there's any organizations out there that are listening, they can get involved and be part of the volunteer exchange to get some great volunteers and meet some great volunteers over at Workforce Central. I was struck by one comment you made, though.
Oh, yeah?
You had played basketball over at Friendly House.
As a young lad, I had some experience at Friendly House playing some hoops.
I think they're still hanging some pictures up
My
there.
jersey's up on
your jersey up?
Yeah, the rafters there.
I played indoor soccer there.
Yeah, I heard.
Saturday nights.
With our manager.
One of the
Workforce
Center
Central.
managers yet today, Jonathan Cortez.
Yeah.
He was a beast as a defenseman.
And you were the goalie.
And I was the goalie.
Did you have a nickname then? The Walturgeon, something like
The Sieve. I don't know what they meant by that. Apparently it was quite complimentary. No, you had a great time. I can't tell you about the great work.
A lot of programs there. And
I know Gordon Hargrove, the director up there, really does a fabulous job with all the staff. So great job interviewing there. And you also had a chance this past week. We had an opportunity to highlight and to recognize some of the great organizations and companies that are doing work with young people in the region. So this was the second year of having what we call the Growing and Readying Our Workforce, the GROW Awards. And it was held last week up at Mount Wachusett ski area by the Crowley family.
Big thanks to the Crowley family, because the year before, the Crowley family hosted us at Polar Beverages.
It was great that we had a chance. And we did this in collaboration with our counterparts in North Central. So we basically had all of Worcester County covered, which is awesome. And so had a great chance to recognize some great winners, including here in our region.
Yeah, we had Zoots, who was recognized for they've actually donated to Workforce Central all of their unclaimed dry cleaning. So after a year or two, if dry cleaning goes unclaimed, they donate it to Workforce Central, and we were able to establish what we call the Suitable You program. Eligible young males can go in and they can get a nice
work attire
for
they
their
got an interview coming up,
or the first week of work before they can afford dress clothes on their own. So it's a great program,
especially these days. A lot of young people, they dress so casually. So to have something, they typically wouldn't necessarily have something in their closet or whatever to wear to an interview to really kind of dress to impress. So and I love the name too, Suitable You.
Yeah.
Suitable You.
And then also we should mention Allcom Credit Union was also awarded from our region. They do a number of classes through one of our partners, Worcester Community Action Council, for financial literacy.
They've hired
they've
youth
hired
from the
some
programs.
youth,
They were nominated by Worcester Community Action Council in the work that the folks are doing over there.
And also honorable mention, one of our finalists, Central Shoe.
Central Shoe,
who was nominated by Worcester Public School Transition Program. And they're right down the street from us.
That's right. Now, we did also have an opportunity to recognize one of our CMWIB board members.
Yes.
Miss Karen Koller, who is the president and chair of she's president of RCAP Solutions as an organization, and she's also the chair of the Community Reinvestment Act Coalition, which, as a coalition, raised and donated, I believe, over $20,000 to support youth jobs up in the North Central area. And you had a chance to talk to her after the event, correct?
Yeah. So those other ones we mentioned received the GROW Awards. And every year we also recognize one as the employer champion. So this year it was the CRA Coalition, and I spoke with Karen a little bit about
Dr. Z, why don't we roll that?
We're here at the Growing and Readying Our Workforce, the GROW Awards, and I'm here with Karen Koller, who's actually wearing a number of hats today. She's representing RCAP Solutions. She's the chair of the Community Reinvestment Act. So that was from North Central Mass, and that was the hard part.
That's right.
So Karen, I understand CRA Coalition received an award today from the GROW Awards, and the idea behind the GROW Awards is to recognize employers and employer groups that are going above and beyond to invest in our youth and our future workforce. So can you tell us a little bit about what CRA did to deserve this award?
Well, I absolutely. First of all, what we did the first year was we contributed $20,000, and we were able to put youth into 12 nonprofits that could not afford the $1,000 stipend. And that was really important because we also wanted to expose students to the opportunities at a nonprofit that it offers for career paths. But then the other 8,000 went to small employers that actually the company that did the bonsai plants, we gave money to them. Because small businesses sometimes have really interesting opportunities, but they just don't have the cash flow to support, and they're seasonal. So the first year we did $20,000. This year we went to 25. The CRA Coalition is really a very loosely formed organization that uses the financial industry, the financial bankers in the area, and they are all required to have a certain community reinvestment into their community, and that's how this group got formed.
Oh, okay.
So it's a partnership with the nonprofits and with the banking community, and trying to find ways that they can use their dollars to build community, and that's how it happened.
That's great, and so. This is one of the main focuses of the CRA Coalition? I know when you accepted the award, you had mentioned that you said we gotta focus on a couple things.
Right,
and so,
we did, yeah.
and so what made youth employment important to the CRA Coalition?
Well, I think everyone's now talking about the aging workforce, and what is very important to me personally, as much as professionally, is that we have got to incite our youth to look to new jobs. And I think that everyone's talking about the jobs and people of the future. The only way that they get their interest is sometimes to go into the workforce and see what's going on there. And so it was important, and the bankers felt it was critically important. And this is really their money, so they can define how they want us to spend it. And they're the ones that also put the amount out there. So it was a very generous offering, and they want to continue it every year. The other things that we're doing with the CRA Coalition, very briefly, is we have just created a scholarship program for some of the very small nonprofits here in North Central, where they can apply to the coalition for upgrade dollars, improvement dollars, some of the things that people need, like even computers or printers and all that, where sometimes your funding source doesn't assist. And then another focus was the Home Ownership Center that we actually run out of the Twin Cities CDC in Fitchburg, but we also put money into that to help to promote foreclosure prevention and a whole range of things.
Well, it's so refreshing to see a number of businesses getting together to give back to the community with such generous donations. You guys are well deserving of the award, and I thank you for taking a couple times.
Thank you very much for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
Well, great job with that, and again, a great event to highlight folks working with and really going above and beyond to support youth workforce development. So
yeah, and that's shaping out to be a real great event too. I know we started it 2 years ago, and being just our second year, but we had a great attendance. Perfect room up there on Mount.
Yeah.
On the mountain.
At the mountain, yeah, it was, and they treated us well. So.
And there was snow on the slopes.
Yeah, 6 trails open up there. So I hear.
No, I was looking at because I didn't know you were such a ski buff.
I'm not at all. I remember talking with Dave Crowley, and he mentioned that they had a couple trails open there, and
they employ quite a few.
Over 1,000 youth each winter.
It's huge.
There. Yeah, that's I mean, there's a lot of work to be done, which is great. It's great. It's a great opportunity for young people too. So a lot of other interesting stuff happening this month, and I know you had wanted to talk. You had a chance to talk to one of our colleagues that has been doing a show on.
Yeah. So there, another competing show on the number one workforce-related television show is they're not competing. They're of course colleagues of ours, but
colleagues. Yeah.
The Exposure with Mosier show.
The Workforce Central Exposure with Mosier.
On WCCA TV 13. They've produced 7 episodes so far, and what they do is they feature career center job seekers and early level entrepreneurs.
It's an excellent way for them to get some exposure, hence the name, right?
Yeah.
To get the word out about what they're doing, especially the startup companies,
and to highlight our Workforce Central Career Center job seekers
and the services.
Really get them out there. And so that show airs locally on Channel 13 Sundays at 8:30 p.m., Tuesdays at 10 p.m., Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m., and Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. And you can also find the previous episodes on demand at www.wccatv.com.
That's excellent. Are we on demand? Judy, are we on demand?
Oh, yeah.
Great demand. To great demand, right? So that's excellent. So both of our shows are available on demand, which is good to hear about.
We'll have to have Amy on sometime to talk about the show. I think we've had her on in the past to talk about the volunteer exchange, but it'd be good to have her come on and talk about her show as well.
So I've got here on my iPhone.
Yeah.
I went to the Massachusetts STEM Summit, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And so I had a chance to go out there.
Were we a host or a presenting partner, or there was a lot of involvement? I remember you.
That's right. We had actually, as a region, we're the lead entity. The CMWIB is a lead entity on a state grant to promote STEM services through the Career Center Network throughout the state. And so we work with our colleagues at different career centers throughout the state to promote STEM programming and services at their local career centers. So we're kind of the conduit, if you will, and the leader for that. And as such, we help plan a number of the workshops that were taking place that day at the Massachusetts STEM Summit, which was held down in Gillette Stadium. Pretty cool.
Big time.
Yeah, pretty cool.
See the Patriots practicing down there? Or?
I didn't.
They're pretty strict about you taking pictures and stuff too. I know.
Well, we were up like in a mezzanine level or concourse level or whatever, and they were pretty cool about they have the big windows there, and so what they weren't cool about was me trying to run on the field and show my moves. I figure
open tryouts.
If they could just see my moves,
yeah.
If Coach Belichick could just see me, I don't know if he checks out the security cameras or whatever, but
you may be getting a call.
Well, they might be like, wow. Wes Welker's gone.
It was.
Who's this guy with the mustache?
It was the rugby uniform that you had on that really scared him.
Yeah.
That really scared him.
By the way, so the guy that recovered the punt for in overtime against Denver is a guy out of Ohio State that was an All-American rugby player.
Oh, right.
So
I remember
we
watched the highlights of that when they were drafting
Nate
him.
Ebner.
Yeah.
For the Patriots. So there is precedent, Bob.
Yes.
Dr. Z, there is precedent.
The skills translate.
If I could just get Coach Belichick to see me in action. That's why I was thinking I couldn't get on the field. They wouldn't let me on the field to do my moves, but they do have security cameras out in the parking lot, I noticed.
So
I was weaving between the cars.
As they were leaving.
Just trying to get noticed,
Yeah, I'm sure your big break's
I can't
coming.
believe I haven't gotten a call yet. I'll have to check. I have to double check. I may have missed a call.
Probably.
I may have missed a call. Coach Belichick, if you're listening, I am available. I'm sure I could probably take some sort of leave of absence, right, with the city. And
I
Sure
thought
you
I
can.
saw the station line lighting up. Was that what that was?
That was the coach. That was the coach calling. I told
I'll
him
put
it's the
him on
wrong
hold.
number.
Well, at any rate, it was a great day, a great event to highlight STEM activities and STEM that's happening statewide. There's even a guy there who's presenting about his flying car. He's got they're going into production
Hover cars,
for
yeah.
a flying
Wow.
car. Yeah, so that's pretty neat. But so I did have a chance to talk to some people. I want to play a few interviews from that. The first one is with David Cedrone. I'm going to just let it roll. He does state his title in there. I might get it wrong. So let's see if we can. Are you ready to go, Dr. Z?
We're ready.
Okay, we're here at the Mass STEM Summit with David Cedrone, the Secretary of Economic Development for the Commonwealth.
Actually, you should get that right. I'm the Associate Commissioner of Economic Development in the Department of Higher Ed.
I was not even close.
That's okay. So we can,
So
I
there we
wouldn't want
go.
the secretaries to
Well, there we go.
think
Yeah.
I just took their job.
Well, I'm giving you a promotion there. So, can you tell us about today's event and about its wonderful attendance? So,
Well, this is the 10th annual STEM Summit. Obviously, a lot of work by a lot of people for many years. Has been growing by leaps and bounds, showing real interest from all corners of the Commonwealth. I heard about 1,350 people attending. I know we had waiting lists that people were clamoring to get on, so it's a real strong sign of significantly increased interest and awareness of the importance of STEM education and this agenda in Massachusetts.
now we've had some great speakers here today, among them the governor, who spoke about STEM jobs and the growth of STEM jobs. It seems like the state is positioning itself through STEM jobs as economic development.
Massachusetts
strategy.
is definitely a knowledge-based economy, and I always sort of put out the challenge today to say, show me the job in Massachusetts that doesn't require some level of STEM skills.
Right.
Now, it doesn't mean that everyone's a white lab coat scientist and engineer, but STEM is a foundation set of knowledge that is needed in most every job. And even if it's not, it's a foundation knowledge that people need to be effective citizens in the voting booth, in their local towns and communities. So we just believe that this is truly an all-student, really it's an all-citizen agenda for Massachusetts.
And building on that, today's attendance would show that. I mean, you've got representatives from higher ed, from K through 12, from workforce, employers,
Early
business,
education
early
and care.
yeah.
We start them as young as possible, because that's when students don't have any biases and they're natural scientists and engineers, and we want to then just reinforce that interest and that imagination and that discovery, and then give them the tools they need to really pursue that in our post-secondary programs, whether that's the community colleges, entering into middle school jobs, or going on to our four-year campuses and universities for high-end professional.
And I know in Central Mass locally, a lot of great STEM projects happening, and a lot of activity happening around STEM, again, as a economic development, as a jobs growth strategy. So,
Well, certainly from advanced manufacturing, there's a lot of that going on in Central Massachusetts. It's one of our hidden gems in a funny way. Manufacturing has been a big industry in Massachusetts, still is a very big employer. Transitioning to this advanced manufacturing where technology, a lot of people with the image of a manufacturing setting would be shocked if they saw what today's advanced manufacturing, they're clean, they're high tech, they're highly professional environments. So this is a resurgent growth area. And also there's frankly the need to replace a lot of workers who are nearing retirement. So there's a lot of opportunity, high-paying jobs, benefited jobs, really great opportunity.
well, we know you got a busy schedule today. It's a great event, and thanks for taking a few minutes to chat with us.
My pleasure, Jeff. Good to talk to you. Good.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, well, so we had, as I said, a number of different guests on that I had a chance to talk with at that Massachusetts STEM Summit. It was a great event.
Yeah.
Another one was Miss Susan Buckey, and she's out in Boston and is a partner with us through our STEM network. Let's see if I can call that up. Are we ready if I roll that?
Okay, we're here with Susan Buckey, the project manager for the Metro Boston Skills Initiative, and that's SKILLS, the Skilled Careers in Life Sciences Initiative. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Tell us a little bit about the Metro Boston Skills Initiative.
Well, this is a program that is giving opportunities to Massachusetts residents, particularly those in eastern Massachusetts, to be trained and prepared to work in the life sciences industry. And we also have another component of the grant, which is really to assess sort of what are the workforce development needs of the industry. So we have a consortium that meets on a quarterly basis to address those questions with both employers, trainers, as well as workforce development agencies, all in the room at the same time.
And certainly while the program is based in Boston, it sounds like that information that you're gathering is really could be shared throughout the state.
Yes. Yeah, I think a lot of what we're learning is proving to be very useful to anyone who's interested in this industry.
And is that what you're talking about at today's summit?
Yeah, a little bit. Today we had a summit where we had graduates from different certificate programs from a bunch of different schools across the state. Those graduates were telling us their story about how they came to the life sciences industry, where they've landed after participating in this certificate program, and the career path that they see for themselves going forward from this point in time. And it's a pretty positive looking future.
Well, it sounds like it was a great workshop session, so thank you again for being with us.
Oh, that was short.
I don't know if you caught the ending of that. I think she thought she was like a featured.
Yeah, she wanted to go.
She was ready to go for like a 15 or
Jeff.
20-minute interview, and I had to. So she thought that was a bit shorter than she had anticipated, I guess. So that was pretty funny. Yeah. So, and the last one is this interview is with Lance Hartford. Can you think of a better? Isn't that
great name?
Cool name.
That's a great name.
Let's see if I can get this to play, and we'll go with this quick interview. It's just another couple minutes here.
We're here at the Massachusetts STEM Summit with Lance Hartford, Executive Director of the Mass BioEd. Tell us, Lance, about your involvement with STEM and why you're here today.
I run an education foundation, Mass BioEd Foundation, and it is really about promoting biotechnology education so that we make sure that the workforce is there as biotechnology companies continue to grow in Massachusetts.
And obviously there's a lot of like-minded folks here today, a lot of educational programs, school systems, workforce development programs involved. Do you partner up with those organizations? Do they serve as a feeder for you? Or?
We do partner up with those organizations, but our flagship program is a program called BioTeach, where we do professional development for high school teachers and give grants to high schools so that they can get students and teachers really cognizant of what's going on in the life science world.
And I imagine that the teachers learning that can bring those lessons back to their classroom firsthand. And
that's the concept, is that we teach them the labs and then they teach it to the students. And then in addition, we give them experiential opportunities so that we take students on field trips, do job shadow days at life science companies, and also take them to colleges so that they can see what college labs are like. Now, so it's really a fairly inclusive project that we've got going. We're in 180 different high schools across the state.
Do school districts apply to be a part of it, or do
individual schools apply? Individual high schools apply for funding for the grants, and then the only stipulation is that we do professional development with those grants. So it's not just for equipment, it's equipment and professional development.
Do you know off the top of your head if there's any Central Mass schools that you work with? Or?
Yeah, I don't know specifically the schools, but we're in 180 different high schools across the state, so we're doing pretty well at getting out west. Way out west, there's fewer because there's fewer life science companies out there, but certainly Worcester area, we have a lot of schools in Worcester.
Sure. Now, how about in terms of the size of the industry and the growth of the industry, can you comment on kind of maybe where it's headed? Or?
Yeah, the industry's grown an awful lot over the last 10 years. The last couple of years have flattened out some, but there's a continuing demand for jobs within the sector at all levels. Both for entry-level jobs and also, obviously, at the high end of academic accomplishment, scientists, PhDs, always looking for people like that.
Well, Lance Hartford, Executive Director of the Mass BioEd Foundation, thanks for being with us today.
Pleasure.
I think we're ready to go to pivot now to change over from the STEM Summit, which was a great event, over to another standing feature here in the show we like to call Mailbag. Right?
Right.
Mail time?
Run it.
What do we call it? All right, we ready?
Mail time. News here.
Okay.
Wow, that's an intro right there.
If ever there was one.
Mail time. Okay, sir, take it away.
So we have an email from, as always, for the show, if we have questions from our listeners or our viewers, we ask them to send us an email. Bob, do we have the email? Is it theworkinglunch@wcuw.org?
Yes.
So we have an email from Jessica from Oxford, and Jessica writes, "Hey, Working Lunch crew, I wanted to see if you had any advice for job searching during the holidays. So we've got a number of holidays coming up. We have Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah. The list goes on and on.
If she hasn't already gotten a job, I mean, really, for seasonal work, they've already pretty much hired folks, but it may not be too late. There may be some folks that are still hiring out there. A lot of retail shops hire.
Right. So,
UPS hires extensively. FedEx and transportation, distribution, warehousing is also another big industry that hires very heavily during the holidays. So what other advice would you?
So I talked to Amy Mosier from our office, and she pointed me to a couple articles from Allison Doyle she found online. And what first occurred to me was a lot of the higher level decision makers might be on vacation, so there might be like a lag in when they get back to you or when they post for a job. But this article kind of says you got to just keep going with it. It's a good time to keep going with your job search, to send out resumes, to connect with the Career Center. And then there's 6 tips here that she highlighted for me.
6 tips.
So the first
Number one
we just went over was don't slow down your job search. Some people give up job searching during Thanksgiving and New Year's. Don't be one of them. Employers are still hiring, and there may be less competition from other job seekers at this time of year.
Good point.
Use the downtime. So a lot of people, it's an ideal time of the year to connect with acquaintances you haven't been in touch with and let them know that you're looking for work. Use personal and professional events. So these are great events where you can do some networking and connect with other people who may know of a job that might be a good fit for you.
You're out and about. You're meeting people. You're talking to people.
Send holiday cards. Sending a Happy Holidays or Happy New Year card is a great way to reconnect with your networking contacts. Connect online. Again, kind of the same thing with the holiday card, as you can connect with somebody, say Happy Holidays.
It's a good way to kind of reintroduce or reconnect with someone, just to kind of say, hey, here's my situation now. That makes sense.
And the last tip here, my favorite, relax and enjoy. So enjoy the holiday time, kind of relax, come back down to earth. I know stress can be, being unemployed and looking for work can be very stressful. So this is a time where you can...
On a personal level, not necessarily with job search, but obviously it can be a stressful time with the holidays and everything. I think it's an opportunity. Money's going to be tight. To be creative with gift giving too. Whether it's you might
Do you have some ideas for our listeners?
Well, and I don't have anything prepared. I wish I thought of it. I would have prepared something. But I mean, thinking, you could give a gift certificate for an hour of your time to go and rake leaves.
And this coming Saturday is Shop Local.
Shop Local Day.
That's right.
So there could be little knickknacks. There's all kind of little shops all around.
Little knickknacks and stuff.
Knickknacks, yes.
But you can also, you can make gifts. You can create your own gifts. And not that you don't want to shop local. You can shop local for the craft supplies that you use to make your gifts. I know my grandmother used to knit mittens for me.
My mom's actually. I've requested my mom knit me some slippers for Christmas. Yeah.
What do we call slip-ons? I think we call them slip-ons. Because I guess slip on your feet. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a good
shoe putts. I think we call them shoe putts. Why? I don't know why. Is that like a French Canadian thing?
I don't.
We
know.
had a lot of kind of interesting
with a name like Zukowski.
Yeah, you would know about that. So the Polish tradition is not to call these slippers shoe putts.
No, not at all.
You bet you do probably got a shoe putt. That's what I say.
John, how about you?
Just
call them slippers.
Just slippers. They were like knitted slippers.
Yeah, exactly. They're great. Really warm, made of wool. Perfect. So, great point though.
About making
stay back.
Because money is going to be tight, but I do appreciate the other points there, especially like you said to not lose sight of the fact that it is a holiday time, and you should try to enjoy your family and friends. So
definitely. And thanks to Jessica from Oxford for the email. And again, listeners and viewers, if you have questions that you'd like the staff at Workforce Central or the staff here at the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board to answer, send them over to us. And it's theworkinglunch@wcuw.org.
So one of the things that we've tried to do this month, there's so much going on between the STEM Summit, the Volunteer Connection. We have the upcoming Volunteer Connection, we talked to Pat, the upcoming event over at the library with inequality. We also had talked about volunteerism. And so we had kind of a really busy show today, but we did have one other event that we wanted to highlight, the good work the folks at Workforce Central and career centers across the state actually had teamed up to help with a veterans-focused job fair. And so that was a great opportunity to serve our veterans, to get them, help reconnect them to the workplace, and to connect them with companies out there that were looking to hire veterans and the skills that, of course, they bring. So we did have a short interview with Larry Corbin, who is one of the organizers of the event. Let me go ahead and play that. Bob, you ready for this, Dr. Z? Here we go.
Okay, we're here with Larry Corbin, the Disabled Veterans Outreach Program Coordinator, stationed over at Workforce Central. Larry, thanks for taking the time to chat with us here.
Thanks for coming in and asking.
So we're here at the Veterans Job Fair. Can you tell us a little bit about the event?
Yes, we plan this every year. This is our 5th year here at the Auburn Elks. We have 39 employers and quite a good turnout. It takes about 6 months to organize, plan, and finally get it all together. But it's an extremely well-attended event every year, and it's really good to see a lot of people coming in.
And I know you have a lot of support from not only the staff at Workforce Central, but also a lot of employers here. Can you speak to maybe the employers and their desire to connect with returning veterans and what veterans kind of bring to their organizations?
The veterans bring to all of the people a sense of urgency, responsibility, commitment, that kind of stuff. They're very trustworthy, and they have the skills that the companies look for, and they don't have to train them or retrain them. And we have a lot of participation from the companies and a lot of returnees every year. Every year they love to come to this.
Well, obviously they bring a lot of those skills, like you're saying. I mean, the experiences that they have, the discipline that they bring. So it's great to see such support there among the community to bring this together.
Yeah, Auburn, the Elks, every year. I can't say enough good things about the Auburn Elks. They donate the hall to us every year. They support us with anything we need, and giving back into the community. We have people coming from as far west as Springfield, and we have them as far south as Milford and a little bit further down towards Rentham, and that they come up this way. It's a very good draw.
Yeah.
So it's good for Workforce Central. It's good for the 3 career centers, which is Southbridge, Milford, and Worcester. But we organize it all together, and it's a complete team effort, and it takes about 6 months to get it done.
It's also great for our returning vets to have a chance to interact and talk face-to-face with some employers that recognize the skills that they bring, too, I imagine.
Right. Getting the veterans in to talk with the employers is the key, because most of the time the employers are unreachable. Now they're out front, and the veterans have the opportunity to talk directly to them and voice their concerns and their wishes. So it's a win-win situation for them.
Great. Well, Larry Corbin, the Disabled Veterans Outreach Program Coordinator, thanks for taking the time.
So again, just a great effort on behalf of the staff over at Workforce Central to put that on again. They do that annually during November to help serve our veterans, and others come in from the community as well too.
And a big event too. I heard there was over 500 job seekers there.
Yeah, close to 600 job seekers.
Did he mention how many employers were there? Do you know
Yeah,
offhand, or?
It was over. It was about 40
Wow.
something
Yeah.
employers. Yeah.
So they must have packed them into that room then.
Yeah, it's really, and like he said, the folks over at the Alvin Elks do a great job. So we kind of come down to the last few minutes here of the show. I think we've got a busy show today. A lot going on, but it is a special show given that it's the day before
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Dr. Z, any family traditions for Thanksgiving that you used to?
The traditions are always family. It centers all around family. So whether we have 18 or whether we have 36 coming, it depends.
How about now you grew up in a Polish, traditional kind of Polish
It's the
household?
same thing. It's turkey and all the fixings. Nothing of Polish dishes.
No, even side? No.
It's all,
Glumpkies
no. It's all. So I just remember the first.
Glumpkies, are there such things as glumpkies? Am I right?
I just remember. Yes. You said it
Pierogies?
right. Yeah, you got
those
that
are
right.
good.
But I remember the first time hosting the Thanksgiving and having 32 people over and having to drive out to Lancaster. And I believe the place was Bob's Turkey Farm out in Lancaster and get a 36-pound bird.
36-pound
and waking up
bird.
at
What
1:30 in the morning and putting it in the oven so it would be ready.
Wow.
That was a big bird.
Yeah, I'm surprised it would fit in the oven.
Yeah, we don't have that oven anymore.
Wow, that's a huge. You bought them from the farm processed and everything, or
yeah, they're fresh. They're fresh, not frozen. They're fresh turkeys.
Sure, but they do clean them off and all that, right? You didn't have to.
Yes. No, I didn't have to. No.
He brought it in live, put it in the car seat. He was in a cage, had the backyard.
That story's for another day.
How about you, Sean? Any?
I've actually got a similar. This year, my wife and I are hosting Thanksgiving for the first time. We were kind of tired of driving around all over the state to different
family members,
and doing the whole thing. So we said, hey, why don't we have it this year? And now we have 30 guests coming over for our first one. And my father and I are starting a new tradition. We're doing the turkey together. We're doing a maple orange bacon turkey. And then we're gonna go
that
for.
Sounds a little exotic.
We're doing an exotic
I'm not
one
sure we
and
can.
a traditional one.
I'm not sure. Oh, okay.
We're doing both.
For the people that want to try something a little spicy, a little different.
Yep. And then we're gonna do a mountain bike as a new tradition.
Kind of goes with the mother. Hey now.
Hey.
How about a maple? What is it? Maple smoked bacon.
Maple orange bacon.
Wow.
Turkey. How about yourself, Jeff?
Well, I mean, this year we're going over. My wife and I and the 3 kids. We live very close to the in-laws, so we go down there. We have kind of a tradition there. Daddy usually goes out the night before to hang out with some friends, and then he sleeps in the next morning. That's like the one day I get to sleep in a bit.
Wow.
And the family has they're a little bit younger kids, so they'll go down to the in-laws and watch the parade a bit.
And where's the?
Although this year I might be going to. I've got a nephew. Although I went to St. Peter Marion, and had played football there. And my brother before me had played football there. My brother's son is actually a freshman over at St. John's playing football.
So you're gonna go to that game?
Very talented young football player and lacrosse player. And so I might be taking my son, who's 8 now, and kind of into football. Might be taking him out to see the St. Peter Marion St. John's game. And normally, or I should say this year, I would say that the game might be. St. John's might be the heavy favorite because they are going to like the state finals.
Oh wow!
But because they're going to the state finals, I don't know if they're gonna want to rest their stars, right? They might want to rest some people, so it might give an opening to my alma mater there. So
very good.
I got to some torn. Dr. Z, are we already out of time? I thought we had another.
He runs a tight ship here. So.
Well, let me end
everybody.
with this. A little Garrison Keeler for folks out there.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
We would eat pumpkin pie. We'd be sitting around the table eating pumpkin pie. And that's about enough of that. Okay, thank you, Dr. Z. Thank you, Sean, again for another great show. And we'll see you next month, which will be our Christmas and holiday show. Thank you.
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.